Bueno. Ay. Well, hello, everybody. Today I'm not gonna be doing anything special. I just wanted to kind of finish this color picker application that I started, I don't know, like 2 weeks ago. I spent like one afternoon on the couch watching Netflix and coding this. And I wanted to stream it today, basically because on Friday we had a good stream about with UI and the composable architecture, but the internet didn't work as expected, so we had to close it sooner than I wanted. So this is basically a stream to check if it was a one-time thing or if it's gonna happen again when I try to do something more serious than this. So that's what I'm gonna be doing today, pretty much. I don't know if this is gonna work or not. I've never converted colors like this. And I guess we can show that. Where is it here? Set color info. GB. Well, yeah, it's RGB. There you go. That should work now. Well, it should work. Should show it to the UI. Hopefully. Okay, so now we have that in there, and now we should be able to implement some code that I don't know, to be honest. The code. I'm gonna try this because I don't know the color. I understand the color theory. I don't know the specifics of it. So it's not like I can just deduce it in half an hour. So I'm just gonna take this from here. Okay, so for some reason and then it's a series of if-else, which doesn't make much sense to me, but why would you multiply? Because as you scale through this, like here there is reds, but there is no blues. And then you go to the greens. Okay, I mean, I guess it makes kind of sense. I'm just not sure. Yeah, I'm just not sure, to be honest. I mean, to be honest, let's just copy paste this shit. This hue is the one I got here. So this goes here. With the hue, it's less than 1. Okay. Okay, I think I understand this part now. So the hue is a value, in my case, is from 0 to 360 because it's like 360 degrees of the wheel of time, and so then I reduce that to 0 to 1 to have a fixed range in float space, and then I multiply that by 6 to let it go through 0 to 6, because I guess there is 6 segments, 6 if-else cases, and that makes it in that way easier to check in which space we fall. I guess it makes some sense in that aspect, I guess. Now I just need to kind of understand the rest. But first, let me just clean up a little bit this code, because in the way it's written, it's kind of a mess to read. So at least let me have a nice way to read it. So then this is the hue value that I set. So then it's okay, if it's bigger than 2, there is some amount of red, but you need to get rid of the 2, because I guess from like 0 to 1 it's red. Yeah, I guess. Okay, let me make this a float, a double instead. Yeah, and this is hue value, that's cool. See, I'm glad. In this case, I'm glad there are different types. Okay, so I think this part is compiling fine. Now, what is it doing here? Okay, because now we have these values. What are they? What are they, from 0 to 1? I mean, this is the hue part of it. And now we're making the color, which combines the hue with the saturation and the brightness. Okay. Okay, I think I get it. Isn't this all the time the same? Just changing. Why are these duplicated? It only changes that part, right? Let me try. So I can move this here, and here I can say color value of the red hue divided by 255. And the red value is what goes here. And the difference is that the hue part needs to go here. Is some C code. I mean, I can show you from where it is. It's from some Apple forums that I found for converting HSB to RGB. The original question was using UI color, which was what I wanted to do, but I'm in a Mac application, so that will be. I mean, I guess NS Color has the same API, maybe, I don't know. But it's too early in the morning and I didn't want to have to read all that. So instead, I just ended up getting this code, which I guess is, I mean, it's Objective-C, but it's basically just pure C. There is no specifics here. So that's what I'm converting, basically. Now, if it is gonna work or not, that's something I don't know. Kind of makes a little sense for what I understand, but again, that's a 0.1. Things, yes. Is the original code that? So now what I need to do here is the saturation value. Saturation value, it's 0 to 1, so yeah, I need to do this bit here, because in my case it's not from 0 to 1, and I have to do the same for the brightness, so I can get this from here. Like this color struct, this color info was thought to have basically make it a nice API. That's why it's not like this for the UI part, because that's the numbers I want to show. I want, like, as users, you think of the hue through 0 to 360, no, not in 0 to 1. So now that's why internally I need to be changing these things. And I fucked up because this is the saturation value. Have you ever stopped on a bug on purpose before? If yes, would you ever do it again? What do you mean by stop on a bug? I don't understand the question. If you can rephrase it, that would be helpful. So these are the doubles, so that should work fine. And that's a double now, right? Yeah. And is it worth to have doubles? I'm not sure now. Let me just make ins and kind of fuck it. Okay, so now let me check these lines, because I have the feeling they are the same, but the original code has them duplicated, and maybe it's for a reason. But I mean, I'm kind of blind, but except this part, I think they are all the same, so yeah. I think it's easier to do this. And now we can do color value and we can pass the correct. So that's gonna be the grain agile. And the 250, there is no dot in there. Okay. So now we need to convert it to int again. So that's it, I think. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. That's not a good start. Well, yeah, of course, why I'm dividing this by 255? What I want is the output from this directly, right? That's another thing. Cool. Now, is that color correct? I don't know, let me check. If I put in a converter this, so hue of 50 and 88 and 88, the RGB is 224, 191 and 27. Yay! That's cool. That's cool, that worked. That worked. I'm surprised it worked, but it did. Oh, whoa, whoa, chill. There you go. That worked. Okay. So I guess now what we need to do is the hex. The hex. I'm curious about that question from Curious Responses. I'm probably not pronouncing that right. Have you ever stopped on a bug on purpose before? I guess while streaming, because in normal day-to-day coding life, well, I mean, you need to fix the bug, otherwise they're screwed. I mean, you can stop, go to sleep, that makes sense. Like, our brains when they are sleeping, it looks like there is a little guy in there working harder than when you're awake. So that definitely works. Like, everybody knows how you fix many bugs while you're in the shower without thinking about it. But in a streaming, not really. I mean, I haven't done much streamings. So, no, I haven't stopped as far as I know, maybe, I'm not sure. Like, it's not something I do conscious. Like, if you stop in a bug, it's just because you're tired of it. Like, of the whole streaming and live and coding at the same time, that drains your batteries. So, in that aspect, maybe I've done it, I'm not sure. I wouldn't worry too much, to be honest. I mean, you shouldn't stop because the bug itself, but if you want to stop because you're tired, like, I didn't know how to write this, to be honest. Like, I could have spent like one day reading about how to do it and the theory behind it, but man, I just took it and basically now we can proceed. In any case, I'm not gonna be selling this application or anything like that, so it's not a big deal. I'm just here to wake up a little bit in the morning with some Swift code and chill. So now let's do the hex. Which in theory, now that I have the RGB, that will be easier, right? Probably because I think I've done that on the past. Let me check if I find it. Because if I do the hex is, yeah, I'm just gonna make a string. Okay, I don't like this. No, yeah, that's the one I... What's up, Eclipser? Do you understand everything? Come on, it's just fancy colors. You can understand what's going on. It is fancy. So again, I don't need this part. Some fancy shifting in there. And now, what if we just do this? What happens? And let me beep 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 beep. Let's see what X value we got. Boom. The That's what I was looking for. I remember there was the thing is that I'm not sure if this is gonna work with this value, but you can say radix 16. upper. Well, I'm not sure if that's the default. But yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, that looks better. I'm not sure if it's correct though. Let me double check. So we're in 50, 88, 88, yeah, and it's E0BF1B. Boom! Looks like it's alright. So now I just need to do some fancy this and this. It should make it work. There we go. Cool. Cool. Me happy. Me happy. Me very happy. Let's commit this. RGB and hex values. Cool. Now, before I think out living, because it's time to play some games today, what I need to do is make this a little fancier, no? Make it a little fancier. One thing we can do another day is make a text field that auto formats by clipping the hue into 50 increments, and it syncs with the picker. That will be cool, but I'm not sure Swift UI is there yet, and I can probably use AppKit, but that's for another day. Let me write a note somewhere here on the hue slider. Let me put just a note here. Well, not here because that's just a slider. Here. To do make this text a field. Auto formats 250 increments of 5. Oh, really cool. But yeah, what I wanted to do is have some maybe nicer design for that stuff. But I mean, I can guess we can try it at runtime to see if everything is fine. Where is it? There you go. Go away. So that's the fancy color picker. So you can pick one of these colors, and they are with the specific increments and values that I took from, I think I mentioned it on Twitter, but I took this, how is that guy called? Yeah, from Louis. It's Mantia on Twitter. This is the tweet. So I was just on Twitter and I think he mentioned, I don't know how I got here because the tweet is quite old. But then I saw this as like the Louis Mantia color palette. So it's the hue increments of 5 degrees. So I can show you the hue picker only increments on 5 degrees, like, so that's that part, and then an 8 of 100% for the saturation of brightness. So you can see that, I mean, ignoring these because these are basically zero values for the saturation. Like the left column is a 0 value, which I didn't have in the beginning. I think he answered me when I tweeted that I was doing this just for fun. He answered and told me it would be nice to have basically a 0 saturation column on the left and a 0 brightness column at the top. I don't know what for, but I'm not a designer, so I guess it's useful for some reason. I mean, these ones I can get it because it's a grayscale, but this one here is just black, so so it's weird. I don't know. I'm not an expert. And then you can see how it increments just on these specific values, which is like an 8 of all the values possible. So that's pretty much it. And what the other thing I have here in the background is you preview on the background. It just changes with a hue, but the color, it's always the same. Like if I go to see this bright and saturated color, you can see that this background here, it's always the same. It doesn't change. So this is basically the mode that makes it appealing to use this, because you just want these values here. But then if you want, you can just click preview here, and it switches to basically show you the real color, which I think it's helpful to see like in contrast with some UI and some stuff. So you can switch here, or you can change the color here, and you can see it on background. I had to put these ugly borders. I'm not really a fan of them because this corner it's not really nice. But otherwise you wouldn't see the boxes when the brightness was to 0. So cool, that's what we have done. So maybe before I forget, I want this. So I wanted to do here, and was it doing this? Yeah, if you do this, it detects the blue. And I think it shows it here, or doesn't, yeah. We show something on the minimap? Where is the minimap? Minimap? Not really. There was a place that they showed. Anyway. So what I want is... no, not this. Ah no, yeah. Sorry. This one. So I want to copy paste on click with message on hover. And then I also want nicer UI with nearline. I think, yeah. And the nicer UI how can we make it a little nicer? I guess we can do, let me see. So I wanted this tag. Let's put this one, for example. Yeah, but that's not... I want the alignment to be a leading. Okay. That helps a little bit, I guess. Headline, maybe? I mean, that kind of helps, right? And then we can put this font, because at the end of the day, that's what the big part that we want. So we can put this as... Title would be with too weird, right? What? Oh yeah, sorry. I think that's alright. Can we say bold? And I don't know now which order it's the correct one. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So why don't we make a little view for this? We can make a what? Info row or some shit like that. And let's move this in here. Let's call it title, although maybe it's confusing because visually the value is bigger, but nobody said that the visuals and the names had to have the same name, no? Okay, so now we can switch these to use info row of hex and this value, and we can have 3 of them, so we can say RGB and HPS, and we can create a string here with that. Boom. And then we can create a string here for that. And now we can move these two tools here. Some view. And let's give it a kick. Yeah, this needs to be a string, of course. Oh, whoa. This should be alignment of leading. The spacing is a little bit off too, so let's put it, let's see with 4. Nice to be for this. Okay, that looks better. The problem is with the boxed, because the boxed, yeah, I'm not a fan of the box. Not sure from where that spacing comes from. Ah, from the infinity, right? Yeah, it's interesting because this doesn't apply to the text. Which means that what do I have to do this? It doesn't help because this doesn't affect the internal things. That's weird. Okay, I think that's what I want. because this is applying, yeah, so this is applied to this guy, which makes it big. That's so cool. I mean, when you understand what Swift UI is doing here, it's cool, but otherwise, like, you're breaking your head. So look at the blue. The blue borders is what I have selected here. So if I select the stack, it's the entire thing, which makes sense, okay? But what happens before this was not at full width. And that's, if I comment this, that's because the way Swift UI calculates this size is this stack, it proposes the sizes to the text, and the text, they just grow as they need, as big as they need to. So you can see this one, it's exactly the size that it needs, and if I go here, they are all the exact size that it needs. Once that happens, then the B stack picks the bigger size, which is the second for RGB, and you see that it aligns exactly, like if I change from here, look at this, it aligns exactly with the one from the stack. Bam. Okay, so that's the bigger one. And then when we go one level up, which in this case it's here, it's the same again. Like, look at this line when I go here. Well, because it's applying the box, I cannot only show you that, but yeah, that's the idea. What we're doing now with this is we're saying, okay, this text here, I mean, the text itself, it's still small, but when we apply this one, we say, okay, now the square is as big as it can, and that pushes these full stacks to be full width, and that's why it looks like that. And the reason why this is on the left is because this text, it's just aligned on the leading of this, so it goes on the left. But in this case, this is going on its own left of the proposed size. So it's here because that's its own size, but then when we're saying frame infinity, it makes this one big. See? This one? So then when the stack view says, okay, put it on the leading, well, it's on the leading already because it's the full width. So you can definitely do fancy things with this, but it's not really straightforward to understand. And to be honest, I think I'm gonna go full 10 spacing. Yeah. I like this much better, but now this hue value needs to be one of these ones too. Let's try how it looks, because otherwise it's too weird. Base hue, and what we want is just I like it like that. I prefer that. It's more like, it makes more sense for me. What would be cool is if we could do here a corner 4, for example, just a little bit. Oh, come on. Come on, Xcode. I just added the corner. I needed that. Yes, you're right, Xcode. You're often wrong, but now you're right. Man, I don't see shit here. Yeah, that's good enough. Yeah. Whoa. That's good enough. Cool. It looks nicer. I still need to figure out the UI for this preview functionality, but it looks good. So we can get rid of this. And what we need to do is the copy paste, which is gonna be probably a little more involved because yeah, that's not just UI. I need to interoperate with the operating system for that. So at that point I will need some callback with some method. I'm still just doing everything on the UI. As you can see, there is not a single view model or anything like the fancy composer architecture that I was showing the other day. There's nothing like that. It's just views and structs, and that's it. And yes, of course I'm not gonna make an entire app like this, but this is simple enough that I much rather prefer this, you know. And probably some of you are already crying because this file is like almost 300 lines long. I personal preference, I think splitting them it's way worse. Unless it makes total sense, you know, like the hue slider was completely independent, but to be honest, this info row, like it can just be there, you know. Like for me, it's about when I was editing this, I wanted to see this in context. It was not useful for me to see this individually, so like the preview was it would have been useless. You can move this to another file if you want, but I'm fine having it here. For the hue slider, because it was more complex than that, I wanted, like, I just move it here to have specific preview for it, to play with it only on the slider without having the entire application, you know, and that kind of stuff. So I'm more pragmatic in that sense, and I just do it as I think it works better for me. So okay, so I think that's gonna be it for today. It was short but interesting stream. I think, yeah, I'm probably gonna do this again because I want to do the copy paste and finish a couple of things before I'm probably gonna open source this, because I don't have any real, there's no value in keeping this secret or anything, so I'm probably gonna open source it just to have it there and as an example of a simple Swift UI application. Okay, yeah, cool. We can run it one last time if you want to see how it works. But yeah, apart from that, thank you for watching. Thank you for the couple of questions that we had. And there we have it, a macOS application with a color picker, all on Swift UI, running on a Mac, with some interactions, some bindings on the UI automatically, so all of that takes care of the Swift UI. And we're gonna continue some other day. I'm not sure it's gonna be today, but maybe one afternoon, one evening on this next week. I'm gonna play with it. Okay? So yeah, thank you for watching and see you next time.